Good morning, everyone. Myself, Dr. Yamini Ramesh, and I welcome you on behalf of Asha Homeopathic Academy and Homeopathy Junction. I hope you all are doing fine. It's a great Sunday. I'm really excited to start this session. We have a very special person, very special speaker with us, Dr. Riddhi Joshi, with us. And I can't tell you how excited I am to have her here. So I just want to request Dr. Riddhi, can you please start your camera? And then I will introduce her. Though so many people already know her, but it's my job, so I'll do it to introduce her. So, Dr. Riddhi is a very dear friend of ours, and she has guided us many times, and she's a great homeopath, a very good homeopath. She has been graduated from CMP Homeopathic College in Mumbai in 2010, and since then she is associated with Dr. Dinesh Chauhan sir at Swasthya Homeopathic Healing for last more than 10 years. She embraces role as a director at Swasthya, as a senior consultant, project head, coordinator, books and articles compiler, and also a lecturer. As a senior consultant, nationally and internationally, she consults various retake cases and deep pathological cases. Her strength lies in dealing with cases from both the childhoods of life, the first pediatric age, and second, the geriatric age group. She heads the International Patient Clinic at Swasthya Clinic. She is instrumental in compiling Swasthya Child-Centric Web Diary for Pediatric Patients, a concept by Dr. Dinesh Chauhan, and is a pediatric diary consultant also for patients at Swasthya Homeopathic Healing. Dr. Riddhi is also associated with ABJF, a non-profit charitable trust started with Drs. Urvi and Dinesh Chauhan, which conducts lectures for homeopathic students free and is a senior consultant for the trust too. Many of you might have been part of the ABJF events which have happened over the period of years, but recently it has happened in Mathiran, and you must have seen Dr. Riddhi coordinating everything over there. Dr. Riddhi is also associated. She's also a coordinator for all the online advanced courses and clinical courses, the layman webinars, seminars of Dr. Chauhan since last 8 years. She heads a special unique project called Your Case, Our Guide, where she gives online expert advices on failure cases of homeopathy. From various countries, she has conducted case discussions with participants from various countries like Bulgaria, USA, Germany, Egypt, and many more. She is the core team for projects like the Plant Ski website, the Case Witnessing website. You should definitely visit both the websites. They are fabulous, and it contains a lot of information for patients as well as homeopaths. She is also a part of the research study groups Materia Medica Prima and higher order plant study groups under mentorship of Dr. Dinesh Chauhan. Indian and international Tattvam study group, which she holds and directs, under which the monthly discussions of groups of homeopathic doctors from all over India and international countries are held to exchange and share cases and various other aspects of homeopathy for deeper, better growth of holistic homeopathy is discussed in that group. And she's also a part of Swasthya Clinic customized software development team. She has compiled books like From Treating to Transforming, Choose Homeopathy, and one of Sir's upcoming book, which is The Holistic Card. And her cases have been published in many national and international journals. Dr. Riddhi, thank you so much for accepting this invitation. I'm really glad that you came on this platform, and we are really glad and grateful to you.
Thank you, Yamini. I was just thinking, can you hear me well? I'm hearing some echo. Okay. So no, we are like soul sisters, many times yes. I think I really look up to you, and the kind of work and the passion you all carry, day in and day out, it's amazing. And the consistency, over the years I've seen you guys, and it's always an upward graph. So it's an inspiring journey, and it's my pleasure to be here. So great. Thank you so much for sharing about me.
Thank you. I have the same feelings, and all the attendees, I want to tell you that Dr. Riddhi is a very calm and composed person, but she has the whole ocean of wisdom and knowledge inside her. And whenever she shares, it's always great listening to her. So when you will listen to her lecture, you'll understand that how much depth and passion she has for homeopathy and for discussions of cases. And today she is going to share two cases, Dr. Riddhi. Two
I'll be
cases she's
sharing a single case, but it
single.
is in detail the whole journey so that we cover all the topics with the case so that it's easier for them to relate and get the hold of the subject that we are trying to put convey to them.
Yes. And for all the homeopaths, this subject is the most close to the heart because
Yes.
this is our bread and butter and life, in fact, that when we do a case well, there is a saying that the 50% work is done. I always say 75 to 80% work is done well if you take the case well. If whenever she'll share, you will understand that we have kept this topic simple, scientific, and reproducible. So this technique is exactly very, very simple, scientific, and you can reproduce it if you understand it well. So try to grasp every bit of it. And if you have any questions, please write them in the chat box. At the end, we will have a discussion. So Dr. Riddhi, all yours.
Great.
Please
Thank
take
you
it
so much,
ahead.
Yamini.
Thank
You've done
you.
half of the job of conveying the importance of it. So thank you. I'll
Thanks.
share my screen. So we can start, right?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay, okay. So warm welcome to all of you. It's a big pleasure to get connected and share what we all have passion about. Uh, when Yamini spoke to me about this lecture, I think the first thing that came to our mind was, the topic of this case taking, what we call as case witnessing process, because this has been a pivotal part in my journey as a beginner from the place where I came and then, getting connected with Dr. Dinesh and then learning through this process has been really transformational. So I think the first primary step that I took as a beginner was, getting in touch with this skill of taking the case. Because, like Yamini correctly said, it is half the battle won. And it also gives you that chance to have that confidence and also the patient to know what you're doing. And that is a very good combination for the healing to take it further. So I welcome you all to this journey of 3 steps of case taking. I have tried to keep it as simple as possible. It's a simple case, but idea is to grasp the concepts well because if you can apply that in every case of yours, then I'm sure that the journey will be more and more, you'll be opening up to a lot of possibilities, basically. So let us start without further delay. So today I will be sharing with you all a case of a teenager girl with hypothyroidism and genital psoriasis. Now this is again a case from my initial journey, but I specifically picked this up because I learned a lot in this case. Being a simple remedy and this journey, but how you take a case of a teenager who doesn't open up to you. I think this is one of the most common difficulties we face, whether it is being a teenager or, a very left-sided people who come to us. How to take them slowly and gradually in this process of case taking so that you really get the whole picture. You will see from this case that. So, with the 3 basic steps, how the case evolved till the totality, then you will learn about some teenager centric artistic questions. This is a further journey after case taking, which you might have heard from Dr. Dinesh's lectures also, that how these artistic questions and methods are an additional tool to your case taking journey. And they really help the person, to go beyond their conscious talks and gives us the glimpse of their inner picture. So, few teenager centric questions we'll focus on through this case. Then we'll focus on a uniquely guided designer diary. What is it? What is the purpose of this? And how this helps in the case taking journey. Then we will progress to systematic steps of how to read a remedy. So the job is not only to prescribe, but also for you to know that remedy from a multidimensional angle. So that when you are prescribing, the depth of the remedy enhances, and you can see that remedy from multiple angles. Then you will progress towards remedy differentiation, how we do it, and what are the remedies that will come up when you differentiate them. We'll read about those remedies also. And then the follow-up journey. What to ask in the follow-up, what to expect in the follow-up, and what are the possibilities of healing, in a particular case. So this is what I would like to share through this case, step by step. So just to start the case, let us go through the evidential data of this case. So this is the report, like you all see. She came to us with this report. It was an accidental finding because of her weight gain and the other physical complaints. Doctor had told her to just do her thyroid profile to check what it is, and the TSH came to 94, like you all see here. Luckily, the parents decided to come to us directly without, consulting an endocrinologist, and they were keen on starting homeopathy, and they had a question that, should we go ahead with the endocrinologist, or is it okay if you will, if you can only prescribe homeopathy, because we would like our daughter not to go for those kind of hormonal medicines, because in the family they already had a history of somebody having thyroid and going for lifelong medication. So they knew that the allopathy medication will be much more dependent, and that's why they came directly to us. And we were, as we were explaining the mother that yes, it will be a good, in fact, a better way to start, because, we don't need to taper off the allopathy. We see for 3 months what happens, and then we take a call. So we be open to that, but we definitely take a call after 3 months. If in case we are able to help her with only homeopathy, then it will be a win-win situation for them. So this was the thyroid profile, and this was also the anti-thyroglobulin test which the doctors had advised. The anti-TPO was normal, but anti-thyroglobulin antibody was 25 and above, which is expected to be below 4. So these were the two tests that she came to us with. So that is where I introduced the first pivotal step of case taking, the 3 steps of case witnessing process. The picture is, self-explanatory. So if we go through the picture, the case taking consists of 3 basic steps. For us to remember it more easily, let us call it step 1, step 2, and step 3. In the step 1, idea is to take the information from the patient as it is. This is the most key role of us as a homeopath, because this is where your skill as a homeopath, your trust as a homeopath, and your unbiased observer, what we say as a homeopath, falls into picture. So during this first step, it is called open passive step, where you as a homeopath are passive and you allow the patient to speak and see what comes in the center. Idea is to give them an open-ended question to start with. Like, for example, I will give you the examples what I asked in this case to know, but it is an open-ended question for them to start talking in this space. Initially, it will be difficult for them, but your assurance, your trust in this process will help them to speak up whatever comes in that open space. And in that space, you will note down all the PQRS that are coming up in different areas that the patient will cover. Like you see here in the picture, in the step 1, there are different symbols which represent our different PQRS. So you keep noting them as it is. They will look disconnected. They will look random. They might not make sense to you. But idea is to trust this step and take it as it is. So when you note down these PQRS, you will see that they have come up in different areas that they cover. Some may start with their illness, then they may go to their childhood, then they may speak about their profession, Then they may speak about their hobbies. Some may cover the dreams on their own. So let them take that space to wander in whichever area they want. You, as a homeopath, have to just be in that encouraging position. So when they do that, you will gradually progress towards your step two, where when they are speaking about the PQRS, there will be one particular PQRS, which can be either an emotion, which can be either a delusion, or which can be either a sensation, which is getting repeated again and again. So when you are noting down the PQRS and bifurcating in which areas it is coming, you step back and look through your case of passive and see which is that master key, what we call it, which is that PQRS, which is getting repeated again and again. Once you are able to appreciate that PQRS, which got repeated, you call it a master key. It's just a name, but it is basically the key to go further in the case. Yeah. With the help of that master key, you question about that, and then you see how the patient connects the other PQRS to it. That means that's the correct key, because the patient is gradually moving from scattered symptoms to a pattern, which means the patient is moving from scattered PQRS to a holistic pattern of him, which is very unique to him, which will help us to match the remedy. So, as I told you, after asking about that master key, if the patient starts connecting other PQRS or other parts of passive to that particular key, this means it's a checkpoint that we are on the right path. And the more you pursue about knowing this picture, you will gradually move towards the third step, where everything about the case will get connected into a beautiful picture or a pattern. So once you are rest assured about this master key and the things getting connected, you keep asking about it in the third step. And gradually, all the PQRS, all the peculiar things about the patient will start getting connected in a beautiful pattern. And here in the third step, you are able to appreciate the complete pattern. You are able to form the holistic totality, and your remedy will be much clearer at this step. Like you see, if you prematurely try to decide the remedy or prematurely try to use your tool, either repertory, materia medica, thematic, whatever school you all belong to, it will be quite a premature process, because here everybody will come to a different remedy depending on their experience or depending on the tool they carry. But if you follow these three steps very systematically, you are able to get to a pattern which is inclusive, which is, inclusive of everything of the case. And all of us will be able to at least come to a common conclusion of this pattern, which is very, very important. And after this, depending on what the pattern respects, we select the tool which I'll be focusing as I go further in the case. So this is why we say that this case witnessing process of 3 steps is scientific. It can be reproducible by any school of thought. It is integrative of all the information that is coming up in the case, and it becomes a holistic picture or a pattern in the end. So this systematic progression of the case is very important. Like I have just re-summarized it here for you all. The multi-dimensional module of case taking, we follow the first step. Dr. Dinesh has named it passive case witnessing process, because we are passive as homeopaths, where the patient is guided in open spaces to cover different stages, different situations, maybe their subconscious areas, fear, dream, interest, with PQRS complaints or chief complaint, whatever they cover. After that step, we go to the active case witnessing process, which is step 2, which is with the master key, like I explained you all. And here in the step 2, the journey is about connecting the dots in the case. Like I told you, the things will start getting connected. So it's also called a checkpoint, so that we are not blindly trusting what we understood in the first step and not getting biased. We are having a very scientific checkpoint to know whether the things are getting connected and we are on the right track. And the third step, Dr. Dinesh calls it active case witnessing process, which is the final step to get the complete pattern. So now let's start with the case to go through these 3 steps practically and learn few more concepts on the way. Yeah. So like I said, I'm starting with first step, open passive, receiving the PQRS as it is in an open space. So let's see what this girl spoke about in this open space. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have the video of the case because the mother refused me to record it, because considering her genital psoriasis issue, and the mother is very, very conservative. You will see gradually as she improved, she understood the depth of homeopathy and she agreed to record it, during the follow-ups, and you will see the mother and, how the energy of the girl basically. But we respect that. So idea is to make them feel comfortable to open up. So even if they don't want to record, we say we respect that. But idea is first, patients should be comfortable so that they open up to you in that space. They should feel almost as if, they are in that secure zone and you are not judging anything and you are there to just listen as it is. So then in the first step, like I said, ask open questions. So what I mean by open questions is, here I have made the open questions very teenager friendly, because I know that she, with the look of it, she was very conscious initially when she came directly, because being an overweight teenager, you can understand, the and first time coming to a homeopath. So I understood the difficulty that she was facing while, sitting with me or, sharing about her. So I asked her very teenager friendly open question, like, tell about whatever comes naturally, as if you are sharing about yourself with your best friend in your comforting space. This kind of environment, when you give to them, it kind of breaks the ice. They kind of relate that, the environment is getting created. Another important thing for a teenager to get convinced is that everything is going to be confidential, and important is to understand what it is and not judge you. So, it is always between the homeopath and the patient, and it is not going to go out of the cabin. That kind of convincing, that kind of, small conveyance goes a long way in such cases, especially when they are teenagers. And then I told her that every word you are going to speak in this open space, you might feel it is random, it is scattered, but it helps me gradually. And I will make you explain how gradually, everything comes together. So aim is to understand you and help you by giving that tailor-made remedy, which will be suiting you perfectly and helping you at every level. So with these 3 questions, I started my passive with this girl, and she said she chose to start with her moods, because being a teenager, 2 most important things they have, like we know most commonly, obviously, is the mood issues and the physical body. These are the 2 things which are very commonly, in the center of their talks at that age. So she chose to start like this, that whenever I am not in good mood, I get angry very, very fast. My tone increases and I shout at anyone, even my father. I want to take a degree so that I can handle my father's business, and I have set my goal to become a businessman like him. This is my final goal. So I what I do in a particular case, when I'm writing a case or typing a case, I highlight things which I feel are in intensity or are peculiar for me. Like in this case, when she spoke about the goal, she stressed on a particular thing that this is my final goal. She was very clear about it. So for me, it became little intensified and important. So I marked it. I don't know whether this will make sense in the end, but initially, I just mark whatever I feel is important. If it is a rubric, if it is an emotion out of proportion, it is if it is a a particular delusion out of proportion, everything I keep marking as I go. Then she said, I like to travel to new places. I don't like when someone shouts at me, especially when I'm right and have done nothing. So this were the few things, but my initial observations I would like to share here because it was difficult for her to free flow. I could see that she's still very slow to talk. Her voice was very low. She was taking long pauses. She needed pushes, like I would like, help her out again and again to encourage her indirectly to, speak something more so that, I allow her to put her things in the center. So also while talking, she was fidgeting, continuously with the handkerchief, that typical, very shy, conscious girl. So these were my initial observations. But after some again general pushing, she said, I'm not very choosy. If mom likes something, I will buy that and choose that. I'm very moody. I usually mix up with people, but I don't talk much, which is clearly seen in her body language, with me also. I am stubborn. I always like to compliment people. I like to encourage people at school. One girl is a topper and everybody is jealous of her. But you should be happy and be like her. But no one appreciates her. So again, I highlight because she's projecting on to somebody and something peculiar that you should appreciate, not be jealous is coming up. So I just mark it and keep. I like to help my brother in his studies. I'm really scared that I will complete my portion before exams. I usually have tensions about my projects. No other tensions right now apart from studies. So I understand being a teenager, she's focusing on her, exams and, stress, what she's going through. So I note it down as it is still, and I go still further to see if anything else comes up. If I have a project and it doesn't get completed, teacher will scold me. And if I get less marks, then mummy will also scold me. So she's repeating about this sensitivity of scolding, whether it is the teacher, whether it is the mother. And initially also she said that even if she's right and if somebody scolds that she's sensitive to it. So we know this somewhere is repeating, in her talks. So we mark it again. Then she says, I get angry even when mom tells me to do things fast. I just leave things at that time and do it when I feel proper by taking someone's help so that I can complete it fast. Someone should help me to complete my project. So this was what she told in the passive. Then she was not able to go further, which definitely is possible with cases like these. And so then I do guided passive. This is an in-between step between passive and active. Now here, since I have limited data, I have limited data in my open space. She spoke about her school, her marks, her brother, her friend, projection, and things like that. But still, I'm not convinced of the master key that I should have to go ahead in this case. So what I do here is I add a step called guided passive, a sub-step to passive case witnessing process. Here, you ask them about some guided areas, but general areas like guided to subconscious things like fear, dreams, hobbies. What this does is this gives you some more open information about the patient so that you are able to arrive at a much more clearer master key. if possible. So I here in this case also at this step, I introduced the step of guided passive because I knew that I will, if some more data I get, then I'll be more confident in asking her with that master key. So I chose the first guided passive as the fear area, which is very, very common in children and teenagers, up to teenagers. This area is very active. So, this guided passive also, the areas that you choose will differ as per the age. So, it is a beautiful way, to open them up further and further. So in this case, being a teenager case, I chose the subconscious areas which are more active, like the fear. And I asked her to describe all her fears since childhood till today. All the fears, all the nightmares, all the phobias, that she has, which are weird, which are scary, which are out of proportion. Keep sharing about them. So I would like you all to hear the questions, what I'm putting through, because half the battle is also won when you put the correct question. So tell them to explain about the fear, nightmares, phobias, whatever weird they are. I think somebody's mic is on. Yeah. So, Yamini, can we switch off somebody's mic? I don't know if it is on. Okay, done. So idea is to, ask about them and tell them to describe whatever weird fears they are, which you have not told to anybody. Keep sharing, they will make sense to me. So here in this case, she said that I'm scared of my dad. When he's not in a good mood and have done something wrong, he will scold me, which we know she's very sensitive of that. I'm scared of the teacher when I don't know the homework. I'm scared of the mother when I don't drink milk. When she told me to do something and I have not done it. Now, since she's very, very sensitive to scolding, she's stuck there, and she's giving me different places. But idea is when she doesn't know, when she doesn't do the work, that time the sensitivity becomes more high. And then she said, I feel scared of heights, rides, amusement parks, darkness, and ghosts. So these were some of the more fears that I told her that when you were a baby, anything else that you were scared of, as a child, anything else. And that is the time she added that, of the heights, of the parks, of the dark, of the ghosts. I was scared about those things also. Then I took her to one more guided area of what was your goal in your life, because as a teenager, they are very, very, and like in this case, she started with wanting to become a businessman. So I wanted to understand this, goal area, which is also another important guided area for teenagers. So I chose this teenager centric guided area of what is your goal? Describe it with your heart. What comes up? Let's see there. And here she said, I want to study something in commerce, MBA, and work for someone. Though I have not decided on the career yet, I'm not sure. If someone helps, maybe I can decide. But the business option is very clear. So one side she's very clear that she wants to be a businessman, but one side she would like to be, have some help to understand exactly which one and which career. So in my life, either I rectify my confusion or just leave when someone is there, like mom or someone else. Then they will come and solve the problem and correct it. So this is what she tells me. So I see these two polarities coming up, that one side, she doesn't know the exact career path. She would wait for someone to, clarify in the process or, rectify it. Or other side, she knows that it's going to be in an area of business. That was in the starting also clear. Then she herself went to this, that my friend who is good in studies and a topper, if she gets good marks, nobody claps for her, but I do clap because I feel good and I don't feel bad about it. She feels bad because she has done so much of hard work, but nobody appreciates it. When you are at your best, people should appreciate you. She'll get otherwise discouraged and start going down. But then, whenever we help her, she feels good that someone is there for her. She should be appreciated, and if anything at the last moment she doesn't know, she wants us to share our knowledge with her. Again, she is very, very sensitive to this girl in her class. And the projection also comes up in a way that she's the topper, but she wants that appreciation because she has done so much of hard work. And she's very sensitive. So she's the one who will clap for her, and she feels bad, the way people don't appreciate that efforts. And she also would like to share the knowledge, whenever. So, whenever the patient is sensitive to something, or whenever the patient puts something in the center again and again, they will start projecting it on someone, or they will give, these are called, projection, denial. These are defenses, what we call. So sometimes when you're sensitive to someone and you touch that topic, you will either project or you will completely deny, because it's somewhere touches you, so you want to put it in this fashion, in a defense way. So whenever patient does that, it becomes important. That's why I have marked this, that she's projecting. That means this is important for her. Then after that, I guided her to dreams, to share about your dreams. Another guided area. So this is my third guided area, like you also. First, I took up the fear. I took up the goal in her life. And then I'm trying to go into her dreams. Now, I've purposely taken this difficult case because, see, with the limited information that I have, with her conscious feeling as a teenager, with her slow pace and lot of shyness, how we navigate this case to more and more information and how we compile the totality in the end. So, in the guided passive area dreams, I told her to describe all the dreams that come to her, which are either nightmares or the dreams which, make no sense, or the dreams which are repetitive in her life, or the dreams that she sees, which really she gets affected with. So these are different ways of putting the same question, but you make sure that you get those dreams which are very peculiar and not get lost in the conscious talks and the conscious dreams. So you make it very clear. Give me those dreams which are weird, which are not, doesn't make sense to you, which you get affected with, which are repetitive, and any nightmares. Unfortunately, in this case, she couldn't recollect any dreams. She said, I have no dreams whatsoever. I don't recollect those dreams. So it's okay. I have no choice. I have to keep going and see what best I can take from this case. Now, since we have covered this much, do you all think any master key or any particular thing I should start asking about at this particular stage in my case? Anything which you all feel which was repetitive as a master key, or which was very, very important as a master key, which I should inquire and maybe get the whole understanding about it. Let's just quickly put it over here so that we go together and it is not about me only, sharing about the case. But let's see the steps together. Y'all can just write quickly, what y'all feel till now. See, this is what I tried my best in the open space. I tried best my guided passives, and we have this information till now. So anything y'all feel which can be a master key at this particular point in my case, to go ahead. And what I should ask. Someone should need to help. Very good, Dr. Shivraj Kumar. Yes, it makes sense what you are saying. Anything else? Let's share all the suggestions and see how we take this case further, almost as if we are taking it. Anybody else would like to suggest? Yes, I'm just waiting for 2 minutes if anybody's typing. At least say, do you all agree to Dr. Shivraj Kumar or something else comes up in your mind at this stage? Scold. Dr. Maya shares that it's a scolding. What happens to you when you are scolded? Yes, another very important area which she repeated. Anything else? See, it is very easy to become very active and direct her with few, from our knowledge. But I'm going here very systematically because I don't want to biased with my understanding of remedies, and take her through that guided route. So I'm going systematically with the steps that I showed you. So scolding and needing help. Anything else you all like to put, which was very peculiar and we are missing? Ambition. Yes, Dr. Nanda, you're right. She's very ambitious, very correctly put by Dr. Nanda, that not only this, but she is very clear that she wants to be a businessman. She projects on the girl that you have, if you're a topper, you should be the best and get appreciated. So that angle is there in her. Very good. Corina says, what makes you happy? It's a good question, Corina, but again, it's a very open ended question, right? So I would rather use this in my passive step where it's more general question. Here, we are transitioning from the open general to the master key and the active now because, I've given her enough space. And you see, this is it, what we have in the case. So wanting to perform despite her setbacks. Yes, Dr. Nanda. But another key important thing what we do in the case is when we ask about the active, we try to stick to the patient's words. I totally understand that this is the meaning that wanting to perform despite the setbacks, but I would not put these words to her. I will put her own words in the active, so that it's easier for her to relate and we are not interpreting it at any level. So another important takeaway for you when you are doing the active step, use patient's word as it is. It will help you a lot and it will help the patient to relate to it. Yeah. Dr. Shivraj Kumar is saying that use the projection feeling. Very good, Dr. Shivraj Kumar. We can use this technique of projection because she's using this defense and projecting on the friend and she's able to share there. So we can use that. Yes. So let's go further. With all these, I totally agree with you all that, I'm transitioning with the master key in this case because I've exhausted my passive and guided passive. And with what information I have, I know there is something which is repeating again and again and something which she's clearly sensitive to. So with this master key, which I have, are these three things, which are very clear. She's sensitive to scolding, which is correctly put by Dr. Shivraj Kumar and Dr. Nanda. The need for help, support, and guidance, which was also very clear, and need to be the best. These three things came up. So I'm noting it as it is. Yeah. And then I go ahead with the active. Now, before starting active, I would like to share some, guided passive artistic areas. Before starting there, let us focus on some more important questions. Since this was my early case, I was not aware of these artistic areas which got developed over the process in case taking. But these are beautiful questions which will help you to open up a teenager. So artistic areas which you can use in a teenager is tell about your imaginations, fantasies, and desires as a child. Yeah. This will specifically take them back to that subconscious imaginary age where you will find a lot of their originality, a lot of their inner picture can come out. So this is one first artistic area which you can use. Unfortunately, since this was the early case, I was not aware. But now in many cases, I use these areas to get more and more deeper into the case. Then you can use a story or a novel writing, because teenager, they are in this phase of reading novels, like you all know, they are very much attached to novels and movies, and so you can tell them to write their own novels spontaneously, whatever comes up in their alone private space. This helps specifically with teenagers who are into writing, who are already writing their diaries, or who are already into novels a lot. So you use the methods very wisely. You can't apply every method in every child, but you have a toolbox and you select from that depending on what your patient is. So if the novel is in the center, you can use this storytelling or novel writing approach. Or if the patient is very, very sensitive to the body, to the physical looks, to the conscious, like in this case, I would have used this one, a conversation with your body. What comes up, just be raw. What comes up when you write a letter to your body, because they have, as a teenager, the teenager complains like acne, weight gain, physical looks, skin. It's very, very important for them. So even if it is a minor complaint or no complaint, they sometimes are very sensitive to their physical bodies. So this helps you to open them up and go a little bit more deeper. Or a dialogue with your imaginary friend. Like again, this age, friends are more important than parents, like most of us know. So you can use this artistic area of talking with an imaginary friend, like in a dialogue. Again, so this kind of thing will help them to free flow, to be more spontaneous, and cut off from their conscious things. So these artistic areas you can note down, which will help you in teenagers specifically. There are some more, but these are the major ones, what we see as per the age. So with apart from that, let's get back to the master key. So I also started asking her about this needing for help, because that came up in the projection of the best. The girl who is best, you don't expect her to take help, right? But for her, that in that area also, she mentioned that she likes if we share the knowledge with her. She repeated consistently about needing help, whether it is her goal, whether it is her project, whether it is about helping the brother or needing the help, with her day to day things. So I felt that this can be explored to understand what she means by the help, what exactly it is. So I started with the first step, first question, first what to say, active question from my side about, asking that when you say help from mother, teacher, what kind of help? What is it exactly? Kindly explain. So then she says, I need help to complete things completely. Friends help me during my exams. A help when in problem or something, a person present can help to resolve it when there is a problem. So any crisis, any problem is where she feels stressed, and she likes it when somebody can help to resolve it, which is very much seen too, in her words previously also. Like if any girl is in need of something, I provide her. So you see, beautifully, she's saying that she also does the same. So for her, like it is said, if you're sensitive to something, you also, see those things around, and you attract those kind of things. For example, one of my friend was not informed we must prepare a small essay. So I helped her to complete the essay, and so that the work was completed. But I would like to take help from the best, like the girl who stands first in the class. So you see, she's connecting again that girl who's the best, from the passive, and then she's completing it more, that she will take help, but what kind of help? From the best, she says. I will like to take it from the person who stands first in the class. So it's important. It's not as just I want help, and no. She wants to take help in these kind of things where she's stuck, where things are not resolved, where she has to complete in a particular time frame, and she will take it from the best person. So it comes together like this. So after this, I go more further with this help, because I see that she's connecting the best feeling with it, the non-completing of work with it, if those kind of things. So I tell her to tell more about this. And then she said that we can need help in anything, whether it is project or to select topics or in day-to-day life or while explaining things we don't understand. I take help from mother, father, or the girl whom I look up to the best. So till now, she's stuck with three people, either the mother or the father or the best girl. She's very clear in her talks. You see, her talks are limited and clear. If you saw her, till now, whatever questions I'm asking, she's telling me one line and that's it. And she's very clear and very limited, but she's explaining it more and more complete, that it's about taking from the best from the mother, father. And when we get help, and help in the areas of day to day life, in the areas of projects, in the areas of topics she wants to select, and then that gives her the relief. No? Then I take a little bit more further to see if anything else that we exaggerate it. That what if you don't get it? What is the worst picture of that? Just to see that, the other side and be sure nothing else is coming up. So she says, then you will be scared of everything. You need to have that support all the time. When you don't perform, you will have anxiety and you will be nervous in every situation. And on the initial observation, like I told you, the shyness and the nervousness was also seen. So, essentially, she's a nervous girl. And she says that if you don't have that right support, you will have this kind of anxiety and nervousness in any situation you are in. And then you will get scolded. So the nervousness got connected to the help. The help is needed so that you don't get nervous, so that you don't get scolded or get punished for every problem and your mistakes. So here, this is what I told, like in gradually, the scolding, which was in one area, the sensitivity to mistakes, the fear and anxiety to perform, the needing for support, it came together. This is what we mean by developing the pattern in the end. Initially, if I would have, just given on the rubrics and I would have not been convinced, I would have just taken fear, scolding, shy, timid, and that's it. I would have not been sure from where this scolding is coming. What is the depth of this help? What exactly it is. So as I took her gradually, here everything came together. Now I know the help is about the basic task. The help is about a profession, about her projects, about her day-to-day things. Without the help, you are nervous and you need that support. Otherwise, you have that anxiety of getting scolded or punished for your mistakes. Yeah. So this is what she said, that this is what worst will happen. Then I took some more active confirmation. In this case, since she's an emotional level case, it is not a very source level case, or, I don't have very extravagant information, but I respect what she spoke to me. And then I will use some more confirmatory areas so that I don't go wrong in my totality and I do a multi-dimensional, some totality. So I do active confirmation step. This means you specifically ask certain questions which will help you to get that information, which will help for the remedy. So I ask her about physical generals, which all should be also considered in such cases. So I asked her that, any temperature, like physical generals like cravings, temperature change, any other physical complaints that you had since childhood that you don't recollect, because she's superimposed with this, hypothyroidism and psoriasis, she might be missing out on those small complaints which were consistent in her since childhood. Maybe that will help us for additional repetition, additional confirmation, And this is where she spoke that I used to have easily sprained ankles. Whenever I used to walk, my ankles used to sprain easily. And I'll show you a picture. I have not put it, but I suddenly recollected. that she underwent this pain again, in the process of the treatment and how she got better. And as thermals, she's very chilly and, thirsty. So this is three kind of rubrics we can say we have in this case, or three kind of symptoms which we should consider. Then in this case, I also take mother's observation. Now, being a teenager, usually you don't need mother's observations. You take it in cases which are non-verbal, semi-verbal. But in this case, since I have limited information, it's not, like we know, I would like to make sure from every angle that I have covered her. So I call the mother in and I explain her what I want to know. Now, this is very tricky because most of the times when you talk to mothers at this, particular junction, they always give you all the common problems that they are going through with the child. So you need to be very clear what you need. Otherwise, you'll go around the bush but get no information. So to cut short the time duration of your case taking, what you ask becomes very important. You have to be very, very clear in what you want to ask and how you will ask it so that you cut down all the conscious talks. Yeah. So I explain the mother. Usually, you should explain the mother in the beginning. If it is a semi-verbal, non-verbal case, we usually explain the mother in the beginning. So when they are waiting outside, they utilize that time to genuinely, go revisit the child and write down those peculiars. So we tell them that, write down all the things about your child which are very, very unique, which are naturally there in him, which are him or her, which are not taught by any school, which are not taught by culture, or not taught by you, but which is very natural in your child. You write down those observations. You write down any fear she has spoken about, any dream she has shared, or anything peculiar you find in his personality. Write it as it is, and that will really help me to complete, the pattern. And it's like a confirmation what the child spoke and what the mother is speaking. If it matches, you're more assured that, this is more important. So that is what I spoke to the mother, and then I explained her what I need. And then she said few observations, again, not many. The mother is also very, very conscious and, very ambitious. And, where the mother is very strict rather than not ambitious is not a correct word, but she's very strict with the daughter. So she's also very, conservative types. But she could give me some information about her. So she spoke that she's very sensitive to scoldings, which is but obvious because the mother will also be noticing, when she becomes very emotional and sensitive. She's lazy, but she will do her work up to the mark. She's childish, mother says, which, we on observation also, I felt that as per her age, she was very, very shy and timid and childish. But in fashion, she's very particular and latest. She doesn't wear any mismatch. That image and look is important for her. So, one side she's very childish, but one side she's very particular about her looks and, things that she wants to do. Whenever she has exams or any projects to be completed, she will come up with cold, cough, and sudden rashes. So this you will see when I show you the video that the exam was a big issue for her. Whenever there is an exam, she will fall sick. And mother said it's the worst phase because she will keep dripping from her nose and we don't know what to do, how to help her. And on the other side, she's anxious for exams and she wants to do it, but it becomes physically impossible for her to give her exams. So that is what the mother said, which is also again an important data for us that with the exam, she gets aggravated, which we know. And this reassures because the physical complaint also got connected with that sensitivity. So then in the end, what we do is this was more or less the case. But in the end, what we do is we explain her what we did. See, it's very easy for us to, just take the case. But it is equally important and it's our equal responsibility to make them understand what we did with them. This helps a lot for them to build that trust and to consistently be with you, So then I called her in because, I knew this was too much for her to share, looking at her personality and, consciousness. So I explained her that, what I was trying to do with you and why it was important for you to speak so much, and share everything. So I told her that, what we do in homeopathy is to take you in different areas of your life so that we can understand what you put in the center rather than prematurely, guiding you and taking the knowledge centric area. We make it patient centric so that we know what you put in the center. And gradually, once I keep asking you about it, we will understand it more and more completely. And that is where we can appreciate the tailor made pattern that comes up. And then we are able to match that tailor made pattern with your tailor made remedy, which is exactly matching to you and, designer to you. And once we do that, we are sure that this remedy takes over you at every level and it helps to balance everything in your being, whether it is your physical complaints, whether it is your anxiety and nervousness, whether it is your shyness, whether it is your sensitivity to scolding and needing for help, whether your dreams, your fears, which are there, everything will become appropriate and in balance. And once that becomes balanced, it reflects on your physical body. So wherever there is imbalance on the physical body, whether it is your hair, your skin, your thyroid, your psoriasis, it will start correcting itself for the long term. Yeah. So this is what I explained her after calling her inside again. It looks like, a last step, but it's equally important, with as important as the case taking also. So I gave her back the whole, especially in this case, because it was very clear. And I knew that this will help her to boost that confidence that I've understood her. And she was, she was in the right hands on. She was, this did help. So in this, we don't do in all the cases again. It's not, you see which case will really understand the whole, where it is very clear, you are sure about it, and which will help them further in the healing journey. You do in those specific cases. So here I told her that, you spoke beautifully about you, whether it is about you or your friend or your school or your parents, that you need support and guidance at every step, especially from people whom you admire or are best, and you want to become like that, and be appreciated. So you want to become the best version, but you like to take it from your idols, from the people, like she specifically said, mother, father, or that best girl. So this is your center, and we will see a remedy which exactly matches this center, and you will feel, much more balanced gradually over the process. And then, she went, and then in the further journey, this is about the case. But in the further journey, when they go, especially we do this after the first follow up, we even give them something called, this is the end of the case taking, right? But after this, there is one more tool you can use, even after the case taking. Ideally, after the first follow up, once they are comfortable with you and once they are in that healing journey, you can introduce something called as a designer diary. Now, this is a very unique tool which has been developed in sync with the case witnessing process, which many of, it's a completely exclusive thing that we use here at Swasthya Healing. And this diary, what we make, is again very age centric. So in this diary, this is like a bridge after the case taking. So even if this case is completed, I know I have limited data. It's an emotional level case. I have tried my best from the 3 scientific steps and the additional data which I could get. But I am still open to understand if anything new will come up, or this diary will also help me to know where she is in the healing journey if any shift is coming. Since she's, a conscious girl, this will additionally help because it's like a private space where she can write it easily, more fluently, rather than speaking. So after 2, 3 follow-ups, you can guide the patient with this designer diary. Now, what this diary has systematic sections with different guided areas to note down the expressions that come up in those guided areas. How this helps, like I already told you, is the vision again of this diary, like I told you, is to note down first in your alone space your activities, habits, hobbies, some artistic methods that you give, some specific questions or methods that you give them, so they can note these down. And then it will help you to know your unique pattern, that comes up in all these areas. And then you can advise them according to that pattern. And then you can advise some, things that will help them to balance this pattern. It's a further journey. But most important thing is to help them to write down systematically the expression so that we don't miss the data. And during follow-ups, we ask them to read this diary, what came up in different sections that you gave them or different methods you gave them, as per the case. So, and then during the follow-ups, you see what she's expressing and you keep noting those PQRS also. So it is like an additional tool and a bridge between your case taking sessions. Yeah. So saying that, let's progress towards the discussion of the case, So what do you think, of this case? Any suggestions with the totality or with the remedy, at this stage? Let's put it together, whatever you all feel about the case. You can mention the totality, you can mention the rubrics, you can mention the remedies that are coming up. Let's discuss it so that we discuss it together. I don't want to give it right away and, just we learn this way much more better. So it's always better to take the suggestions. Any kingdom? Are you all there with me? Can you hear me well? Thank you. Sometimes, this one way you get sensitive. So Dr. Maya says, just a second. Mineral Kingdom, Calcarea silicata. She talks about performance, work, sensitive to scolding, punishment, image important. Calcarea sil, maybe Rishabh says. Mahima, Mineral Kingdom. Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody has a different view or a DD maybe in picture? You can express. DD Calcarea carb. Very good, Dr. Maya. It makes sense of looking at her constitution, looking at her slowness, looking at her laziness, looking at her. It makes sense, Calcarea carb. A book picture, like we say, many times. So, yeah. Laura says, needs support to become the best version. It makes me think she needs structure. I agree. Dr. Nanda says Staphysagra or Calcarea mure. Another very important remedy, Calcarea mure or Staphysagra. Dr. Nanda, why you thought of Staphysagra? Can you just share? It's an interesting, different angle. Reprimands anger. Yes, she started with that, no? Very, very angry and stubborn and yes. Okay. Anything else? Give it a wild thought, anything else? Anybody of you repertorized it? Anybody of you want to take it, in any way? So we see. Arsinosin as an intercurrent. Okay. Okay. Sure. So let me go further into the discussion of the case, since many of you have shared. Let me go further so that we save time. Now, the discussion of the case has to be also very systematic. I understand that, sometimes our mind pops up the remedy very easily, no? Depending on the pattern that came up. Just a second. Can you all see my screen or it went down? Can you all see my screen? Okay. Okay, great. So the discussion of the case has to be also very systematic so that we don't miss the data. Many times what I have observed as a beginner, when I used to take the case, and especially when the case was, kind of known to you from the remedy angle, you tend to jump to conclusions. You tend to just prescribe at that level. But then if you do your discussion of the case or the systematic understanding of the case, then you will not miss any data whatsoever. Yeah. So the discussion of the case is also very systematically divided into two parts. It is divided into sense making, which is the totality of your case, and choice making, which is, the next step. So in sense making, you write down the totality of the case as it is. You write down the holistic totality. You write down the scattered PQRS which are not yet connected probably. You write down the rubrics of the case which were there in your case. So systematically, you're not missing any data. Yeah. Usually what happens is, depending on your school of choice or, depending on your knowledge, you jump to conclusions and give the remedy. But this step has helped me a lot from the beginner level to here, to really take those remedies which we are, in between the lines, which we miss because of our biased known remedy. From that totality, I will do my choice making of the remedy. I will select what tool this case demands and then the remedy. So let's go step by step. First, I will take you to the sense making of this case. Now, in this, I will write down as it is. See, the holistic PQRS that we found, the pattern that we found in the end, which I gave to her. The other PQRS, the materia, the other PQRS which were there, the organ affinity. If there is a miasm, we write that. If there is any other illnesses we need to consider, we write that. Yeah. Now, in this case, and best with basic fears of scolding, dark, ghost, heights, and according to mother, image is important for her. So it's basically a thematic language, what she spoke about this sensitivity and the pattern. But we also have some PQRS which we have to see to confirm the remedy, like easily sprained ankle tendency, chilly patient, and thirsty. And there is some organ affinity of this kind of genital psoriasis, very deep pathology, and the hypothyroidism such high. So we will see if the remedy covers those sphere of action. It will be an additional win-win situation. Yeah. The miasm in this case was not very clear. No other illnesses much in the center, but this is the whole totality, completely. So that we don't make the totality based on only one angle, but we take everything, an integrated totality, an integrated holistic totality into picture. Yeah. After doing this, we go into the choice making. Now, in this case, which books I will refer to? which tool I will use, to come to a remedy. Like, since it's a thematic case, I will go into this kind of totality. It's a peculiar thematic case of PQRS at holistic level sensation with I have some generals in the picture. So I will go with a book which will talk about themes in a thematic way to understand where she belongs. And I will look into the generals, either through material or through repertorization and understand exactly which one. Yeah. So this is what we mean by selecting the tool, depending on what kind of totality your patient gives you. So you're open to all the possibilities. So in this case, we are clear that it's a thematic case with a theme of mineral kingdom. We all agree there's no denial because it is all about the structure, the task, the help, the rectification, the being the best, in that journey. So it's a mineral kingdom case. After coming to the kingdom, we decide on the row and the columns, like we all know. Yeah. And in the row and the column, just to quickly brief, I'm sure all of you know about this. I don't want to go into the detail of understanding, but idea is for me is to convey this systematic periodic chart, where beautifully every information is compiled in this small, one single chart, where it is about the stages of development, which represent the columns of our chart, and the development of the individual phenomena. We already know this, but just to quickly put into picture, here we are dealing with the case where she speaks about her task, her projects, her journey as a career, her to be the best. So we are talking about this row of security, a basic day-to-day issues where you talk about the security and defense of row 4. Yeah. And then in this row 4, we go further where the columns are there, where the columns are beautifully divided into before beginning anything, after beginning the thing. Then when you are developing that after beginning, there are two parts. Either there is an external pressure or internal pressure. And then once you develop a particular thing, you have to maintain it. You maintain it either with ease or without ease. And then once you have maintained it, it's a universal process of destruction, which is a complete cycle in nature always. So in that destruction, again, you divide the columns into ones which are undergoing the destruction and the last ones which are already destroyed. And as per the universal phenomena, once the complete destruction takes place, you come back again to the beginning. The beginning, only let's start about before beginning, where it's divided into the first 3 columns, the first column being just the thought. So it is the very first panic stage where just the thought is, difficult, where just the thought is where you are lacking. Just the thought is where you get, you need get that fear or fright. And then the second step comes where you have taken the first step, but you need the support, you need the guidance, you need somebody to help you through, because imagine a baby taking the first step. You need to hold hands, right? Once you are free flowing and you learned the walk, that's okay. But whenever it is about the first step, you are confused. You want somebody to help you through. You want somebody to complete that step. And then you can walk further. And third step is about complete confusion. You've taken the step, but you're still confused whether this is the right thing to do. Whether this or this way or that way. I've taken the step, but where exactly? What exactly to take? Left or right? This is correct or that is correct. So that complete confusion is about the third column. So this is all before beginning and establishing your path. Yeah. Now, in this particular case, we know it is about not knowing, about needing help, about getting confused, about taking the step, but you needing somebody to complete it. So that is why we see that in this step, we 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 in this particular case we stick with column 2, which is the first step towards the process, but you need support and guide, and there is confusion, so you need somebody to clarify it, to help you out with that. So it's calcarea, which the remedy falls, which falls in series 4 of the task, and the column 2, where it is about the first step towards your security, towards your shelter, defense, and protection. But there is tremendous fear, there is tremendous anxiety. If you read all the rubrics of calcarea, you know the anxiety, whether it is health, whether it is money, whether it is, your career. So it is the first step with tremendous fear, but you've taken the step, but you need a backup, you need a support, you need a guide, which was very clear in this case. But there was one more element to this case, which was the needing to be best. You are unsure, but you want to be the best. That you are very clear. You don't know the business module exactly, but you want to become a businessman. That is clear. You are stubborn. You have your fixed goals. You are very image conscious. You look up to the best girl. So these things are also there in the case parallel to the needing for support. And that is where we give her the salt. And before doing that, I even repertorize just to check, because we have some rubrics. So some repertorization was done to be very sure. And we took the sprained ankles, which she gets again and again. Since it is repetitive, we take it into the repertorization. Chilly patient, thirsty patient, and extensive psoriasis with the genital getting involved. So when you repertorize this, there are many remedies coming up, but the main important remedies which are getting covered, and the initial remedies, you will see Baraita carb, you will see Calcarea phos, Calcarea, carbonic acid, carbonum sulf coming into picture, which makes somewhat sense in the case. But in this case, since it's not about, being completely handicapped, being completely incapable, like an imbecile, stupid, idiotic mind, being completely incapable to do any kind of responsibilities in life. It is more about the task. It is more about getting completed. It is more about performing. It is more about that nervousness, more about a help needed at that day-to-day level. That is why instead of Baraita, we go ahead with the Calcarea, which makes sense in this case. So the remedy selected, you all clearly know this remedy, Calcarea sil, which it was clear for all of you. So we gave Calcarea sil, but we gave in 200 posology because the case was at emotional level. We had to push her basically to speak. And it was with lot of guiding, her case itself is about guidance. So I also had to guide her a lot, in different areas. And then the case came up. We always start with basic repetition, a minimal push of 3 doses for 3 consecutive nights. And then what we do after the case is we read the remedy from multi-dimensional approach, so that we not only give the remedy, but we learn with the patient, right? Many times you feel, oh, it's a very simple case and done and dusted. But it's also about learning the remedy with that depth, so that next time when you see a Calcarea, you can see it with much better depth, and you will use more different remedies, which you can miss with your biased mind. Somebody's mic is on. Okay. So with this, I started reading Calcarea sil, and we read the remedy from different angles. Now we read the remedy from different 7 type of homeopathic books. How this helps is you get different angles of the remedy. If you get stuck to one book, then you might miss some other angle which the other book is having, other strength of. So you read Kantian type of books, you read Boger Bonninghausen type of books, you read contemporary materia medica which is available, You read thematic materia medica, which is available. You read keynotes of that particular remedy. You see the repertorial rubrics that cover that remedy, or if any provings are there of that remedy. So you see, with this kind of learning, you are able to know that remedy in a much deeper aspect and more multidimensional aspect. So you not only a simple calcareous cell, but even a more complex calcareous cell, you will be able to appreciate and you will be able to differentiate the close by remedies also. So when you read from different angles, then you also read the remedy. You read from homeopathic book. Now you go to parallel things. Parallel things means look at that remedy from nature. What is it known in nature? Like these remedies, like cures like. So whatever the properties of these remedies are, it's very important homeopathically to understand. Many times we miss that angle completely because we are stuck to only the homeopathic books. So this parallel study opens your dimension, opens the possibilities to prescribe this. So you see the natural characteristics, what are there in the nature. If any chemical is associated with the remedy, especially plant remedies, or animal, then any new research on that remedy, you will know that if not calcareous cell, but there are so many homeopathic remedies which extensively are used in allopathy for research, for cancer cases, for deep pathologies, and that same properties when they are potentized as homeopathic remedies can do wonders. So, knowing that chemical angle can help you a lot with your cases. And if you have the exact pattern and the chemical also working according to the pathology the patient has, you will see a beautiful, match there. Then new research, and then, other characteristics from alternative science. Suppose it's also backflower remedy, it's also used in Ayurveda. No harm in looking at it. It gives you a more broader angle. Any mythology attached to it. And this way you will know this remedy in a much more depth. So I tried to study Calcarea silicata with these steps, and then when I read about the natural characteristics of Calcarea silicata, it is written that it is a very strong but cheap and non-toxic flowing white powder, and it is used for hydration and strength. You saw the hydration, the water requirement. The high physical water absorption is there in this powder. That's why these patients are thirsty, with high hydration. The presence of calcium silicata in glass adds to its brilliancy and the hardness the hardness and the shine that's important. Foods particularly rich in calcium silicata are milk, cheese, and other dairy products, except butter and green leafy vegetables, except spinach, almonds, Brazil nuts, and hazelnuts. So you see from where the craving comes, but it's very high. These foods are very high, and it does make sense. This is another very common stone. It's a Calcarea silicata stone. I think this you see it in and out, lying there on the roads in the constructions used. So it is used to improve performance. When it is Calcarea sil, it's all about performance, structure, and hardness, aesthetics, and sustainability. You see, all the words make sense, the way it looks and the way it is used. Then from the homeopathic books, systematically, the Kentian book writes, whether it is Boric or whether it is Kent's lecture, it's the affinities on glands, bone, digestive tract, and mucosa and skin, exactly what our patient has. So it gives me, a match for her perfectly. Very sensitive to cold and chilly patients, bashful, timid, ulcers with punched out edges, the muscles, tendons, and joints are weak and easily strained. It's written in Kent lectures, and it makes sense that there is weakness on the body in your muscles, and they have tendency to get strained. There is periodicity, and the discharges are thick, yellow, hard, like we know, and difficult to dislodge. That stubbornness in the discharges also is seen. So that same persona you can see in nature, you can see in theme, and you can see in the symptoms also. Inflammations again are very stubborn. That's why they are very chronic, very pustular. In going to contemporary books like Vermeulen, he gives a beautiful combined theme of Calcarea silicata where they need to keep up a particular standard to get the security and the protection they need. They are very conscientious, hardworking. Security of job is very important. He also writes about the weak ankles, and you will feel that these personalities are very traditional, very hardworking and want to do this is one, two, three, very traditional people. Then Sholton also writes about the passiveness and the obstinateness, but he writes that it's also used to harden the concrete. And he writes the dreams of deceased relatives, futile efforts, paralysis, disease, crystal, ice, mirrors, all where it is used. Fire, family, friends, all the areas. I'm not going into detail, I'm reading only that which is important. Then we go to thematic books like Massimo writes about Calcarea sil that animals mostly use calcium to make their frame, and there are some plants also who use silica in their framework. So many times when you read Calcarea sil, you will have a lot of parallel DD to Spongia and the Porifera group because they also have a lot of calcium and silicata in their basic framework. So when you are dealing with a Calcarea silicata case, don't miss the chance of looking at the case from the other angle that, there might be a DD of such porifera group together. So one of the important characteristic of Calcarea silicata is that if you combine extreme weakness of calcium with silica, they are extremely weak and they are so rooted in the feeling of being supportless that the only possibility is to get the support. But when it is Calcarea sil, they seek out somebody who's weaker than them so that they can play the role of the stronger one. A desire to be so in general, the master key of Calcarea silicata is the desire to be secured either financially, personally, professionally, and in that security they take the first step but with a self doubt, because of which they need that dependency and support, but they do this journey with utmost sincerity and hard work. And with this efforts they go into this feeling of being weak, lazy, tired, and they have multiple basic fears and stubborn discharges. So this remedy was given to her 3 doses. And now we will look into the follow-up journey so that we see what changes we expect in her case. She's not on any anti-thyroid medicine still now. So we are banking on the reports to be sure what happens. And to our surprise, after 3 months, when we did the report, it was surprising for us that TSH dropped to 4.2. So the mother was also very surprised. She said that, you will hear what she says, but it was really, we were happy for her because within 3 months, her reports showed changes. You can listen for yourself and then we see. We see the video completely. Let me know if you are able to hear it or if any issues. Otherwise, I'll play it from outside. But this is her follow-up journey. It has a journey of 2 months and further 2 more follow-ups. But what shift happened? Let's see that. Yeah. Tell me, no, overall, how is she overall since we started? Just, are you all able to hear her? Are you all able to hear?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great.
Better.
In what way? Since you came here
Yeah,
today.
2 months. Yeah, that's what. Since I came here and yeah, all her.
Tell me, no, overall, how is she overall since we started? Just,
Overall, she's better. I find her better.
in what way? Since you came here
Yeah,
today.
Basic complaints and all.
Is it breaking in between? I think if it's in PPT, that's why. Maybe I'll try showing you from outside. Was it breaking? Dr. Yamini, is it breaking? Otherwise, it's in the PPT. Otherwise, I'll show it from outside.
No, for me it is fine.
It is fine?
Yeah.
You were able to hear her, no?
Yes.
Okay.
Overall, she's better. I find her better.
In what way?
Yeah, all her basic complaints
Dr. Riddhi.
and all are reduced, 50%
Yeah.
better.
I think it is breaking, no?
Yeah.
No problem. I'll just show. That's why I kept it on the standby, because sometimes when you put these videos in PPT, no, they
Yes.
behave like this. So let's see it from here.
Better.
In what way? Since you came here today.
2 months, that's what. Since I came here and all her basic complaints and all are reduced, 50% better, better education, teaching. Emotionally also now she.
Are you all hearing?
We can hear, but we can't see anything. We are seeing only
Okay.
PPT.
I'll share the screen again. I'll share.
Yeah.
Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll play.
But if I shout her something, like she's not getting that irritated or like she's handling it patiently.
How is she doing overall in her physical complaints with what she came?
Physical complaints, I'm telling you better. वो years के पीछे है, but that is better. Scalp, I'm finding better. This boils.
How is her vaginal psoriasis?
That is better, yeah.
That is better.
That's better. That's what I'm saying. That during chronic it comes more. This time it didn't come.
This time it didn't come with the cold cough
also, yeah.
And she was able to handle the cold cough.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what used to happen?
During that cold cough, that वो उसका पूरा दिन सर्दी में ही ध्यान रहता है ना, मम्मी सर्दी है, ये है वो, she's so irritating, this that, she keeps on sleeping, yelling, वो दूसरे के ऊपर गुस्सा निकलती है ना. If you are not feeling well, दूसरे के ऊपर गुस्सा निकल के क्या फायदा? We are helping her out, we are giving her all the medicines, everything, but that because you are not well, you are just taking it out on others. But that was better. She was cool and calm, sleeping, relaxing, taking her own self, yeah. Not troubling others at least. I said, don't trouble others.
Anything new in her behavior or anything? Anything new?
She's becoming, I think, so more responsible. Now I don't have to tell her, like I keep on shouting, hit me, I don't have to do that. Because she's getting up on her own. Like, because she has to study, she has to do her stuff. It's being better. Yeah. But that psoriasis is there in the toilet pattern. That is very little, not that वो बहुत रेड होता है, मेरे को देख के टेंशन आता है, वैसा नहीं है. But better. Still it is there. But I think so 2 months period is good to cover that psoriasis.
Now this is after 3 months. So what we do is sometimes for my cases, Dr. Dinesh is take the follow-up. For his cases, I take the follow-up. So that way, we get a different angle during the follow-up and we know what is happening, So now this is after 3 months and we see what mother says. You can see the energy of the girl, the way she is, the way she's biting her nails, still conscious and all. And I will show you one last follow-up where she speaks for herself, but you just hear her out right now.
So, is she happy with thyroid going 94 to 4?
Is my mommy happy? I don't know about her. She doesn't know. So nothing like to worry.
Imagine 94 going to 4.
वो मैं और 2 months की तरह 90. हम लोग 6 months 1 year वो एल्ड्रोक्सिन खाते रहते हैं 100 mg 50 mg तो भी रिपोर्ट्स में क्या वजह से
तो भी नॉर्मल नहीं
आता है. वही तो भी नॉर्मल नहीं आता. डॉक्टर्स डोंट गिव एनी गारंटी. वो भी कुछ ऐसे ये डोज 100 खाओ ना 50 खाओ ना 125.
This is what the benefit when you don't start and you trust. So overall with all changes, what you find her better by?
Yeah, very. I'm I'm sharing with this, I'm surprised. psoriasis भी अच्छा हो गया और थायराइड मेन तो वो दो बड़े बड़े इश्यूज थे मेरे लिए वो तो बहुत ही अच्छे हो गए। मैं वो सोचा मेरे को रिपोर्ट 94 में -90 कैसे हो गए
-90
कैसे
Yeah, this is after 6 months. She was into her exams in CA. So mostly the mother used to give the update. She used to just talk on the phone, but the mother used to come and collect the medicines. Because she was, as you all know, very ambitious and very studious, and she was all the time into studies and things like that. So at this particular junction, she was also pursuing her CA. So we see.
What changes in her?
वो फिजिकल तो ओवरऑल है लेकिन मेंटली भी मैं वही वो डॉक्टर पूछ रही है ना कि मेंटली कुछ आपको चेंज लग रहा है। आई थिंक सो शी इज इम्प्रूविंग वेरी गुड क्योंकि मेरे को घड़ी घड़ी ऐसे बोलना पड़ता है रोज सुबह उसके आई कोम हेयर नो वो चोटी बनाती ना तो रोज लेट होती है वो कुछ ना कुछ हम दोनों का झगड़ा होता ही है हितवी और उसका पप्पा सोता है ना तो इज गेटिंग डिस्टर्ब
So just to translate it, sorry, this is in Hindi. So just to translate it, the mother is saying that emotionally we all wanted to know the changes. So I feel that she's improving a lot. She said even our relations are better. Initially, there always used to be that irritability and fight in the morning in the house, and the father used to get disturbed, and it used to disturb the whole environment of the house. But that is not happening anymore. She's more responsible and she's able to do her own stuff and not getting that irritable, we see.
My husband is saying आजकल तुम दोनों का आवाज नहीं आ रहा है हेतवी अच्छी हो गई है तो अभी हेतवी अच्छी हो गई
Great.
So the husband is saying that these days I don't hear your noises, so maybe Hetvi has improved, and the mother is laughing that she has changed completely.
सोराइसिस बेटर है हाँ थोड़ा टॉयलेट के पार्ट में है 20% और ईयर्स पे थोड़ा है लेकिन कभी कभी होता है वो जाता है 1-2 दिन में लेकिन 80% बहुत अच्छा है और मेंटली भी अभी उसका एग्जाम्स भी गया तो शी डिड गुड वरना मेरे को उसके पीछे लगना पड़ता है हेतवी हेतवी हेतवी
Yeah, so she's saying about the psoriasis that on the genital area there is some 10-20% which is seen sometimes, but it goes away on its own. And even exams, she's coping up well. Usually, during the exams, the mother has to push her or, be around her and she gets stressed and sick, but now she's able to manage her exams also well.
वो अभी खुद कर रही है शी इज डूइंग गुड रिजल्ट्स भी आए उसके तो अच्छा है वेरी गुड हाँ वेरी गुड तो आई एम हैप्पी मेरे फिजिकल तो हो रहा है वो थायराइड तो हो गया लेकिन वो इमोशनली बिकॉज अभी ये टीन्स है ना पेरेंट्स का सुनने वाली नहीं है वो कितना भी हम लोग बोलेंगे
Yeah, so mother was very left-sided, like I told you. So she came only for her physical complaints. But after this journey, she was convinced that not only physically she improved, but even as a teen, she is much better because, this stage is very important where they are on their own. They don't want any external advice or, they don't listen to the external advice. So if they transform at this stage, from their within, then it helps them a lot in the further journey. So she's very happy that at the right moment, both the things have improved, not only physically, but also her as a girl.
लेकिन जो अंदर से वो होना चाहिए खुद को होना चाहिए ना तो फिजिकली शी इज डूइंग गुड आई मीन टू से मेंटली फिजिकली तो दवाई बहुत मिलती है लेकिन कफ जो होता है उसको वो भी कम हो गया वरना वो एग्जाम के टेंशन में वो सर्दी खांसी ये वो कुछ स्टमक
You saw this, she said, even during the exams, that dripping of nose and cold coughs, she used to get sick out of that stress. That has also stopped completely. And this is very crucial at this stage because she's going to give her boards, she's going to give her CA. So this will play a very crucial role in her life.
लास्ट टाइम उसको कुछ हुआ था लेकिन डॉक्टर दीदी ने बोला एक SOS ले लो तो अच्छा हो गया एक SOS से वो सर्दी खांसी हुआ था लेकिन मीन्स 1-2 दिन में ही हो गया अच्छा वरना तो 1 वीक 10 डेज बेटर बहुत 6 मंथ्स में तो बहुत मेरे को ऐसा फर्क आया है और थायराइड का भी अच्छा है खुद को ही विश्वास आ गया पहले तो वो बोली थी मम्मी ऐसे क्या गोली से क्या होता है अभी 2-3 महीना ऐसा बोलती थी लेकिन अभी वो खुद दवाई खा रही है सुबह उठ के उसको बोलना नहीं पड़ता है मैं बोलती हूँ हेतवी ड्रॉप्स ले ये ले ना अभी उसको खुद को विश्वास बैठ गया है ना वो इनर
So now she has started trusting this medicine, initially with the doubt she had come to us with, with the whole feeling of, what to say, why this pill. Now she is more convinced after this journey, and she takes the pills on her own, and she become much more responsible and aware.
ना रहना, मैं वही बोली, अपने को बोलने से कुछ नहीं होता है, खुद जब ये आदमी समझेगा, when you will really खुद experience, that is the own experience, like I would say.
Yeah. So this was there, and this is just a recent interview which I would like to show you all. Now, just some last follow up that we had a little bit, just to know her energy, how she talks. Because just share the screen again. So this is her now. Overall, skin wise,
yeah, मतलब it's very मतलब कई વધારે major, मतलब dandruff है वो तो मतलब it's very मतलब nothing very major at this point.
Yeah, so basically just some dandruff, but nothing else is bothering her. This is after 3 years, and but still she is all good. There is no relapse whatsoever. We'll go through her reports also again, but even her physical skin and her reports and all are all okay even after so many years.
Even on my bums, it's very मतलब it's very normal, nothing a lot એવું કઈ નથી.
The skin is all clear, right? એવું કઈ છે નહીં active patch anywhere.
मतलब yeah, it's nothing so much major like anything.
Yeah, this was mainly to know that if any psoriasis relapse is there. Her reports are already there with me, so I'm not going into that. I'll share the reports again. Just a second. Let's just see the reports. So this is her follow-up. After 6 months, once the state had got aggravated, so we had repeated 1M because she was giving her CA exams. And then after 1 year, the summary was the psoriatic patches are not there at all. Even her hair texture improved with hair growth. Huge difference. She was able to handle all aspects of her life in a much better way. No anxiety or nervousness. And basically now she's able to speak up her mind, and she's able to handle her pressure of, the CA. And she knows, she's able to manage the things basically. This was her report. Sorry, I'll just maximize. This is her report after 1.5 years. As you see, the TSH is 2.4. And this were the antithyroglobulin levels, the latest being, normal, like you see 2.8. It should be below 4. So it went from 25 to 8.7 and then to 2.8. So even her antithyroglobulins responded, and they are under normalcy. And then she was able to clear her CA exams in the first attempt. She gave us the first call, and she was excited to share that even with so much of pressure, so much of sensitivity to exams and nervousness, she was able to handle the pressure. And in first attempt, she could crack the CA, and these were the reports that she shared. She even got, in fact, in a Gujarati newspaper, she was also interviewed because, she was amongst the top 50 candidates for this exam. So she was very happy with that. So before ending, we'll go into some rare calcareas. Yeah, just to see how DD we should read. So when you have a common remedy, when you prescribe a common remedy, you should read uncommon remedies which are parallel to it and differentiate, so that you don't miss the uncommon ones. And sometimes, just a little bit of twitch and you can give that perfect simillimum. So I read parallel remedies, like the parallel remedy being lapis alba, because lapis alba, as you know, is a mixture of calcarea, floricum, and silica. It's silicofluoride of calcium. And it also has this remedy for glandular affection. So this was a very close DD for me. But as you see in this case, there was nothing of the floricum part, but you can get a case where beautifully all three salts come together, It's a remedy for elastic swellings and, elastic pliable swellings with the stony hardness, so it is used for that. Another remedy which can be DD will be sponges, because phylum porifera, like they can be made up of bones of calcium carbonate or silica. So if you read spongia, You will feel lot of similarities to calcarea, so sometimes the little bit of exploration or little bit of parallel reading can help you to switch the remedy. Like in spongia, you do have these undefined fears of ghosts, monsters like calcarea, very childish, not well organized mentally, easily frightened. They also have this anxiety for health, money matters, aggravated from away from home. So very much calcarea backbone which they have, it also has those symptoms. But they need to be attached to somebody, but they feel dependent. So language will be of porifera, but about the dependency. It is more about suffocatingly getting absorbed into that person, into that finances or into that dependency. So it's all about absorbing, swelling, and then bursting and choking. So in their experience of dependency, they will add on this experience of being excessively absorbed into that, or, having those swellings and this bursting feeling with that. You will have another remedy like calcium titanium silicon. Now, when you read calcarea sil, you will see this remedy also below. It has an additional element of titanium, which is very specific to caries, decayed hollow, in premature children. So see, if you have a case of calcarea sil, but with this kind of decay in the center, then you can think of this remedy, as a DD, for just to know. Then you have Calcarea lacticum. This also is a very beautiful remedy we have used in some cases. And it's all about a Calcarea girl, but she is very feminine. She's like a small girl in the picture. So she will use words like, being an uncertain little girl. You are the youngest child and you still want to be in that girl state. You don't want others to see you as an adult. You are that frightened little girl who wants that protection, that support. And, it's almost as if that small girl is talking to you. And they will tell you the need to be like a girl, and not grow into a adult or not grow into a teenager. And in this, possible explanation is more with the lactic acid is found in mother's milk and the vaginal mucus. So, they have this mammae also, the breasts also not very well developed. They are very sensitive. They are that little girl. So there you can think of this possible remedy of Calcarea lacticum. Then there is another remedy like Calcarea ovitosta, which is again the line of the egg shell. It is mainly the hen's egg and it composed of calcium phosphate. So when you have a Calcarea phos case, you can think of a slight DD like Calcarea ovitosta, which is again used for, weak immune system, who are energetic but lazy. Again, the feeling of being unprotected, but they will speak this language of being out of their comfort, out of their shells, they will speak about that fragility, because like, the eggshells have that fragility in the nature. So they will speak about that language along with the Calcarea theme. So they will talk about the layer, about the protection, about the fragility, those kind of things. And you can read some more calcareas like this, whether it is Calcarea calcinata, Calcarea picrata, renalis, acetica, caustica. So there are almost 25 to 30 calcareas which you can read when you have a case of Calcarea silicata, just to give you that different angle and, get more and more possibilities of prescribing a Calcarea when it comes to you. Yeah. So with this, I end my session with few takeaways for you before leaving. I know it's a Sunday afternoon, so everybody has a lot of commitments, but I really appreciate you all, spending this time and passionately going through this case. And few takeaways will be just to, follow these basic 3 steps while doing a case. And also, while understanding the case, go through this process of sense making and choice making systematically so that you don't miss any angle. Give them a designer diary with, specific methods and questions which will help them to express themselves more, and an additional tool between the follow-ups. Then you can guide them with few artistic questions during the case, which I pointed out to. In the end, you can give them back the whole, which is equally a healing addition, to your case taking. then how the follow-up journey was in this particular case. We saw how the transformation possible, and then how to read the remedy from different books, from nature, to be more assured of the center, to be more, in multidimensional of the remedy. And then the few possibilities of differential remedy, how to read the remedy in differential way, where a common remedy can give you other rare remedies into picture, which you might miss in between the lines if you don't know them. So if you read parallelly, then you will not miss those also in your process. Yeah. With this, I end the session, and I really thank all of you. Yeah. I thank again Yamini and Vaibhav for giving me this opportunity. It was lovely to share my experience, even though with such a simple case, but then idea was to, take you through that beginner journey. Since it was Revive the Basics, I felt it's a good idea to share raw cases, where we find difficulties which are, limited information, how we look at from multiple angles, and how we can use new advanced tools, like diary, like artistic things, artistic questions, and they really help us to complete the case. Yeah. If you all have questions, please go ahead. I'll be happy to, answer them right now, because I think we have some time, right, Riyamini?
Yes, we have the time.
Yes. So
And
if any, yes.
please go ahead.
No, that's it. So if anything we have time, so then we can spend some time before we end.
Yes. So if any one of you want to share anything, any question, feedback, suggestion, you're most welcome. And I request all of you to start your video for some time so that we can have a live discussion. It would be really great.
So, if I can just ask something.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so just this is, I think, one of my first. I could listen to the entire presentation. This is the first time through Dr. Riddhi. Thanks to the entire group. Dr. Dinesh, I'm so thankful. This is a wonderful presentation. So I look forward towards more of it. And also, if I just wanted to ask that, how to start moving forward through the process which you all follow. So, what would be the better way to do it? I know it's through presentations and learning this one way, but how can one go ahead with a proper systematic approach to this kind of learning?
Dr. Riddhi, you're mute.
No, this totally is a very practical question, which I understand, because this is a journey of practice. What I have also developed over the years, it's a journey of 10 years in and out, taking cases, believing in these 3 steps, going over again and again, asking seniors, asking, Dr. Dinesh, questions after questions. We have gone wrong, but we have learned through it, but persisted through it, kind of thing. So idea is to just go step by step and slow. So like I said, when we go with the initial journey, we write down passive, we try to give them open-ended questions, we make the patient wait outside. No harm. The patient respects it beautifully. Sometimes we are more conscious than the patient. That is the problem for us as homeopaths. We are at a more lower end than the patient. The patient feels more comfortable with you. So sometimes I respect that as a beginner, and I tell them to wait outside because I want to consolidate what I have. It's too much of information when you go an open-ended case. I showed you a case where there was limited information, but if you sit with a 4-year-old, you will have 10 pages, might as well, something like that. So to consolidate your information and to have what you need to guide them properly in the guided passive also, so that you don't miss those important areas, and then send them outside and then demarcate those things which are really peculiar and demarcate where they are repeated. With this practice, I was able to come to a more clearer master key. I was able to frame my question more appropriate when I'm asking them. Otherwise, sometimes prematurely in the rush, you keep going in the zigzag fashion. But with this slow practice, I was able to come down to a master key. And after 8 years or, 5 years of consistent practice, it became automatic, where I could, in my head, in my typing, I know what to mark, how to demarcate, I know what is coming up, and I ask the appropriate question. And when the appropriate question is asked, then it's like a ball is rolling, Initially you're holding the ball, but once you start active, it's like you are throwing the ball and the ball rolls for itself. So then it's a very smooth journey. The patient, since you are on the right track, he starts explaining it better. It starts making sense to you. You start seeing the things which are not connected. You ask about it and you get the more and more complete picture in the end. So I think practice and staying in touch, no harm in sharing your cases. Like Dr. Yamini is there, many of our team from ABJF, team, the lecturers which are there, we are more than happy to get in touch, when it is the initial phase. We can discuss cases like this. Or, maybe in the Tattvam we can revive, or Yamini, if you have any platform, we can keep discussing basically the cases of each other, because that is how you grow, that is how I have grown. Whether it is about even if it is taking a relative case, I follow the same principles. I don't change my principle at all when I'm doing a case. So idea is to be consistent. I think that's the major key with what helps. I hope I answered your question, Dr. Nanda. If anything else you meant, then let me know. This is what
So
you wanted.
yeah, so I think more of it, a lot of it you have covered. So I was also looking for, is there any like a case performer or a questionnaire where we can just guide the patient to follow it, or it's just an open-ended kind of thing, which interview, like you said, that we want the patient to open up first,
No,
and
like
so
I
that we can.
said, in the passive, there is a way to ask. I mean, it's an open-ended space, but there's a way to put it. Like I said, age-centric. It's a teenager, then I will tell as if you're sitting with a best friend. If it is a geriatric case, I will ask as if you're writing your autobiography. It's some relatable word that helps them, that gives them that push to express in that open space. So what we can do is we can, over the process, basic 3 steps and the basic questions that are meant for that particular step can be shared. And I will just check, and then maybe that will help you to start with, and then you become more and more experienced, and you take the case with these 3 steps, but individualistic to the patient. Like I said, the guided passive will be as per the patient. The methods that you use, artistic, will be as per the patient. So gradually your individuality to case will start developing. But to start with, the basic framework I can share. I will just see, what basic framework, if I can share, I will just check that.
Also, I would like to add something, Dr. Riddhi,
Yes,
yes, like you said, that it is all practice, practice, practice. When you practice and apply the method, then you understand what to ask, what not to ask. Case taking is all about practice, and then you develop it further. But also, if you want to learn it, I guess the new course of Dr. Dinesh is just that is upcoming in May, if I'm not wrong, Dr. Riddhi.
Yeah, if 25th April it starts.
Okay, April end it
Yeah,
starts. So
Dr. Nanda is a part
just,
of it already.
yes, so just right child-centric approach. So that will cover most of pediatric case taking and how the questions can be asked. Okay, Dr. Nanda has already registered. Me too. So I'm really looking forward, and I guess that in that course, whenever sir will explain more cases, maybe we'll get to learn about art of questioning. So in case taking, I would really like to mention this for all the, especially for the newcomers, that earlier when I was a beginner, I used to put lot of attention on remedy, that what is the remedy, what is the kingdom, myism, and all those things. But slowly and gradually I have learned that remedy is the least important thing for a physician. That you will get for sure, but the process, the case taking, and the art of questioning, what to ask, when to ask, and how to ask is very, very, very important. That I have learned from Dr. Dinesh, and discussing with the team of us, Dr. Riddhi, Dr. Anurag, Dr. Shailesh, and all other people, that the art of making question is very, very important. That and if it is open ended, you are at the receiving end. You receive lot of information. Like Dr. Riddhi said, we are very, very impatient most of the times. If we keep patience and keep faith in the patient, then we receive true information, which is very, very useful for finding the remedy. Remedy you will find for sure. So this is what I wanted to share. Thank you so much, Dr. Riddhi. It was beautiful.
Thank you so much. No, that is what I say, that with this journey, there are so many beautiful cases that come up then, whether it is I have an teenager only, like an octopus case, or or laclopine case, or but idea is that it's not about the remedy. I could have easily selected a case which is given a wonderful source level remedy, but I purposely chose a difficult case which is very basic, because the idea was not to focus on the remedy, but how you sustain the process, even with such cases, and how you can use the tools, systematically. And it really was very rewarding in this case, like you all saw, even being a simple case. But I really appreciate, the questions that were pouring in, and it's a very good group, to get connected with. Like, you have collected really dedicated people in your journey. So it's amazing to keep sharing here, who really want to know and want to apply. So much appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you. I do really appreciate your efforts in explaining the case, and, step by step, you gave us the idea that what did you ask and what was the meaning of that question and what you were expecting and what kind of info you got. That was really, really good. And it would be really helpful for all of us and all the people who would watch it later on YouTube. And I want to thank Dr. Kurina, who's a very dear friend of mine, and Webber, who has asked a question. Laura.
Oh, hi, Vaibhav. Vaibhav is here?
Vaibhav is here, but
Okay.
he's just like in the next room.
Thank you, Corina, for being there. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you.
It was lovely meeting all of you.
It was lovely meeting all of you, and I hope you enjoyed the session. If you have any questions, feedback, please do send them later also if you want.
Yes.
We would be really happy to.
Feedbacks are like a complete journey of our teaching, it doesn't end. The teaching doesn't end. So do send your heartfelt feedbacks, and it will be really helpful for us to grow, together from our side also, whatever is needed. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much, and we will come up with another session, another beautiful session next week, which we will reveal very soon, maybe tomorrow. So I'm really grateful for your time and your energy, and thank you so much, Dr. Riddhi. Lots of hugs and love to you.
Lot of hugs to you too. Now you can enjoy, all of you, your Sunday, and then we maybe connect in some other platform soon. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Yamini. Thank you. Thank you for this memorable day. Thank you.
Have a great Sunday to all of you. Enjoy and see you soon. Thank you.